Don't touch anything.
It's the greatest find yet. Nothing compares to it.
But it's definitely something you should hear.
This is The Real Deal with Larry Lawton.
Welcome, everybody. This is The Real Deal with me, Larry Lawton, and I have a great guest with mine today. I got Dr. Lisa Palmer from down West Palm Beach, Florida. Welcome to the show, Doc.
It's great to be here, as always.
You know, I know Dr. Lisa Palmer for a long time, and we are going to talk about a lot of stuff today because, there's a lot of psychology issues going on around the world, and I want to touch base with Dr. Lisa Palmer. I think she's a great asset to our communities. And I'll tell you what, guys, first, before I get started, make sure you guys check us out on all the platforms we have. That's YouTube, that's Patreon, that's all of the major platforms we have. A great website, the crookeddiamondcigar.com is going crazy. We're loving it. Also, you guys know my book, Gangster Redemption. Make sure it's still selling, still sells like hotcakes, and it's good because people like it. It's a crazy story, and it's a success story as well. But, Doc, we also want to talk about one other thing. We're going to talk about a little bit in gambling because I have a sponsor on my show. Mm-hmm. It's called Youwager.lv. They're really good. They're a small, they're the biggest operation in the country.
Oh, wow.
And they're one of my sponsors. In fact, I was on the phone with them when you pulled up today to the studio. And, they're really good people. And the good part about them is that, they have great customer service. In gambling, let's just talk about the stuff. Is there any psychological, like does somebody like yourself who deals with a lot of patients and stuff think about, like, is there a thrill factor to it? Do you deal with anybody with like issues like that?
Oh yeah, I had a gambler that I've dealt with. I've definitely worked with that, and there's definitely that addictive part of it. Not work with too many gamblers, to be honest with you, because anytime I work with an addict, they're usually an alcoholic or they're dealing with drugs, but not too many gamblers. A lot of gamblers just think that their problems are going to be resolved
with the next win. With the next win.
Yeah. But I did have a patient whose son was a gambler, and it was really funny because he came in to pay me on her behalf, and he tried to screw me like $100.
Well, of course, he had to go to the casino that night.
I think he was thinking that he was dealing with a dealer on the other end. Like, hey, hold on a minute.
That is unfunny.
I think you're down 100 here, but no.
Do you? Let me ask you a question. All addiction, is it the same or different?
There are similarities among all addicts, and there are differences. I would say that among all of the mental health issues that I deal with, it doesn't matter really what it is underlying trauma.
Is it like I know I'm a workaholic. I know that's not even a joke. Yeah, right. You know me for a long time. We know each other. Let me let everybody know about Dr. Lisa Palmer. Dr. Lisa Palmer is literally a world-renowned psychologist. She's out of South Florida. She owns the Renew Center of Florida. Mm-hmm. And she deals with patients from all over. She has an app. Don't you have an app or something?
That's in development now. Renew Me.
Okay,
yes,
it's a Renew Me
self-help app.
Right, it's a self-help app.
In the space of calm and headspace.
Now, what is it? What is it going to do?
Everything.
I'd like everything.
Everything Common Headspace does, but more, because we're including fitness, we're including setting goals and tracking goals, and it's going to have a whole resources section. We're treatment finder, and then we have a whole hospitality travel brand to help bring balance to travelers, and it's everything really.
So when
it's a Disney, it's
but what I mean. So how does somebody find it? Just go and.
They can't find it now because it's not going to be launched right now.
Okay.
So it's actually in development. So hopefully.
Well, then you have to come back when it's launched.
For sure. But hopefully it's going to be one day you go to a Starbucks and you can download Renew Me, or go to Expedia and download Renew Me, and we have partnerships with those brands. So that's sort of.
Oh, that's great. Is that what you're working on, the brand partnerships and stuff? I get that. I do get that. Yeah. A couple other things. Let me let everybody know. I know Dr. Lisa Palmer since about 2012, maybe even more or longer.
Yeah.
I was doing an event. I remember when I did a West Palm Beach event where I was hired to go and represent Lamborghini. Do you remember that? In the Polo Club.
Oh, yeah.
We went to the Polo Club.
No, I didn't meet you there, though, I don't think.
Brian was there, a couple other people, Billy. Yeah. They hired me to come in to represent Lamborghini, and I'm sitting I'm sitting, signing books and stuff for this place, or books or people, what my program at that point. And I said, man, I'm too big for this Lamborghini. The guy goes, well, if you can afford this Lamborghini, you can afford the hotel room that goes with it. So, I mean, to do anything sexual in that thing. But I met you, and I met you in a good way. Obviously,
we
I met
through a mutual friend.
a mutual friend named Billy Caceres, who to this day is one of my best friends.
Me too.
And Billy and I, Billy said, Larry, gotta meet this woman. She's beautiful and she's interesting. So if you guys are if you're listening on Spotify or you're listening on Apple or wherever,
and then we had a little cat fight, and then we became best friends.
Yeah, well, I don't take. I fight with everybody usually at the beginning, and that's the way to do it.
Right, me too.
This way you find out how tough they are in their own little world.
Well, you definitely tested me.
I'm gonna keep testing you.
I don't mind. As long as you're doing it, I don't mind.
Now
I trust you.
Yeah, I found out you were former Miss Vermont.
Was a long time ago.
Okay, long time ago. So you were in the Miss America pageant.
Miss USA.
Oh, the Miss USA pageant.
That leads to Miss Universe.
Now, isn't there there used to be a show out with these kids that put them in pageants, little kids.
Right, like.
Yeah, whatever it is. Isn't that traumatizing
like
for a kid?
Boo-boo?
Yeah,
like
Honey Boo Boo
Honey
and that
Boo-Boo,
kind of stuff. Isn't that traumatic for a kid?
I never competed in pageants when I was that young. I guess it could be. I think that a lot of things can be traumatizing for people, but you have to balance it with what's positive in someone's life.
What got you into being a pageant?
Negative and make it positive. What got me into it, actually, I was in dance class, and I had a dance instructor that said I should be in a pageant, and I was like, who, me? I don't feel pretty enough.
How old were you?
I was maybe 15 years old. And so I entered this pageant, had no clue what I was doing, borrowed my mom's dress. I was just honored that she invited me, to be in a pageant. I was like,
now this is like a local pageant, right?
It was.
This wasn't Miss Vermont yet.
No, it was Miss Teen New England.
Oh, Miss Teen New England.
I became Miss Teen New England Congeniality that
So
year.
you won the pageant, first pageant.
No, I was Congeniality, means I was nice. the girls liked me. They voted for me. And I was like, oh, so I have a great personality, but I'm not the winner.
So you mean the other girls vote for the person who's the most nice, the nicest woman there?
Yeah.
Wow. With all the cat fights that you must see in a pageant, that must be something.
But something, like at the time, I didn't see it as a compliment. But now that I look back, it's such a huge compliment to be seen as someone who's liked,
Well, yeah, we all want to be liked, obviously. Yeah. We know we can't be liked by everybody, but you're right. I mean, I often tell people, I sometimes read comments, and I get thousands of comments, and some of them, they don't hurt me anymore, obviously, but you want to be liked. I mean, right. I think everybody wants to be liked.
Yeah.
So you go to this pageant at 15 years old. You don't win.
No.
So what did that get the bug into you for pageants?
So then I thought, well, maybe I should go to a bigger pageant, just because you start getting into it and you're curious. I said, I want to compete for Miss Rhode Island Teen USA. So I competed that year, still didn't know what I was doing, just kind of threw myself together. I wasn't polished or anything, but some of the girls that I met at the previous pageant was in this pageant. And when I entered, this girl who's now a friend of mine, Shayna Mokler, she won the pageant that year. And my gosh, she was like so polished. And I looked at her, I was like, I just saw a halo over her head at the time. I was like, this girl has it all together, and I want to be like her. And anyways, she won. And then kind of a funny story. We were friendly a little bit, and then moving on, I was in college, and I was in my sorority house, and it was
what college did you go to?
Well, I started at the University of Vermont. And so I was there, and it was a Friday night, and all the girls were hanging out and eating brownies and watching the Miss USA pageant. And I walk in the room, and here I was. Actually, I was about maybe 70 pounds overweight, just from, freshman year of college. I walk in the room, and I look at the TV, and they are at the top 3 for Miss USA. And there Shayna was. She was in the top 3 answering her final questions. And she got first runner up. And actually, she ended up succeeding to win the crown, because the woman that won Miss USA became Miss Universe, and then Shayna became Miss USA. And, she was from Barrington, Rhode Island. I'm from Rhode Island. And it was like, oh my gosh, this ordinary girl that I knew, that I was with, became Miss USA. Like, you could do amazing things if you put your mind to it. And so that summer, I kind of decided that I was going to try to focus. And I was sort of at a place in my life that I was like, you know what? I want to see if I can put my mind to it and I can focus on something that I can achieve it. And that's pretty much what I did. So when I went to compete for Miss Vermont, I was a fish out of water because I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the team behind me. I probably lost about 60 pounds in about 4 months.
Now, we're going to get into that, or how
Okay.
you got into that. I have a couple of questions before that.
Mhm.
Okay, at this point, you're 15 years old. You're just blossoming as a woman.
Oh,
No,
back
I'm
there?
talking about when you first went to the
yeah.
teen. Then
Yeah.
you went to the second teen. Were you 16 maybe?
I was about that. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, you're 16 years old. Does your parents support you? Do they think, because some parents would say, no, this is not healthy. You don't need to be worried about your looks and everything's about, it's very materialistic, obviously.
Right.
But there's also a talent end of it. We're going to get into that in a minute.
Mhm.
But so do the teen events and stuff have talent involved?
Not for the Miss USA or Miss Teen USA. It's all just interviews and stage performance, a swimsuit and evening gown and the questions.
So they're putting 15-year-old, 16s in. So do they do this today? I don't hear about these Miss Teen events anywhere.
That's because they're not on national TV at this time. But they're actually, we just had a Miss Universe pageant that was aired, and actually Miss USA won Miss Universe this year.
No, I understand. We still have that.
Yeah.
Obviously, Donald Trump, we're going to get into that. It was owned that, I think it was. But besides that, the teen stuff, I don't ever hear about, see in the papers a local tournament,
really? Mm-hmm.
I don't hear anything like, oh, who's Miss Teen Florida? You just don't. I don't know. I never did either. I don't remember ever hearing, even, school, in my school is different.
Mm-hmm.
But so is it there?
It is, yeah.
Okay, so does a person go online and look it up?
They still have a pageant, but it's not nationally televised. So that's probably why it's missed.
But what I'm getting at is, if a person is listening to this show and they want to go check out Miss Teen, wherever, Florida, Miss Teen, whatever,
Right.
Does every state have one?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
I'm going to look that up when I leave, that I didn't know, there was actual teen pageants.
Oh, yeah.
So you go from teen pageant, you're getting older. Do you have a boyfriend at this time?
I did when I was competing for Miss Vermont.
So early, when did you, you like men or women?
was-
Women, men? No, that's a legitimate question today.
Women.
You like women?
Yes.
Oh, so you're a
How
lesbian?
about you?
No, I love women. Are you a lesbian?
No, I'm not.
No, I didn't know if you're joking or not. I don't know. I know you, and you never had sex with me. So I'm trying to laugh at that. No, I know.
Now we can make that official.
Yeah. It is
Anybody
official.
who thought otherwise.
No, it's
Good.
official. Obviously, it's official. I tell it. I don't lie about stuff like that. So, and I don't tell either. So if I do anything, but okay, keep getting into you, Lisa. You now are 16 years old. You're dating somebody or not?
At 16, no.
Okay, 17.
I wasn't that attractive when I was younger.
How were you going into a pageant at 15 not being attractive? You had to be attractive.
I wasn't.
Oh,
Though.
come on.
There's a lot of girls that go into pageants that are not, like, quote unquote attractive.
Are you? I don't buy that. I'm sorry. I'm calling bullshit.
Okay, here, let me stop you. Are there a lot of people that compete on television for, say, The Voice or America's Got Talent that probably don't belong there?
Yeah, but they do that as a joke. Meaning, a guy who goes
They
on
don't
America's
think so.
Got Talent, and they put him on as a blah, like
No,
the
they
joke
put
part
him
of it.
on, but they still are auditioning. And there are girls like that too, that they think that they actually have a chance, or maybe they just want the experience and they really, it's subjective.
Well, hold on,
Beauty's
Lisa,
subjective.
stop the bullshit, because you came second runner or first runner up in the first pageant you went to.
No, I became Miss Teen
Congeniality.
Congeniality.
Okay, so you were a nice girl.
The second pageant that I was in, I won by a point.
So you won it. So of course you're beautiful. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at a beautiful woman. You were beautiful then.
When I was 19? When I transformed myself?
Is it you're still a teenager at 19? On the pageant wise?
The thing
legally?
about pageants, though, is that it's also a little bit political too, because there's a lot of girls in the pageant that could win, and a lot of it is just sometimes it's luck, and sometimes it's you answered the question the best at the end, or you just made the cut. It was just your day, and it's
really
not necessary. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's going to shock most people.
Well, a
Well,
lot
I
of
mean, it's very revealing because
oh yeah,
everybody thinks, when I used to watch the pageants, I used to watch them and I go, man, she's beautiful, man. And a bathing suit, oh fuck! But they
yeah.
didn't have back when I was younger. They had the bathing suits for one suits, one piece.
One piece, yeah.
Are they still that way? No, I think they're two
No, they're
piece.
two piece now, but the teens aren't wearing bathing suits anymore. They took that out of the competition like several years ago, so they're wearing exercise gear.
At what age are you considered? You said, are you still a teenager at 19?
I think you can compete for Miss USA. That's the youngest age, at least it was.
Oh, 19.
And they've been raising the age at Miss USA, and I kind of heard through the grapevine that they might raise it even more. I don't know if the cutoff now is 28. It could be 28 now, but I think they're talking about raising the age, which I think they should.
Absolutely.
I mean, ageism in pageantry. It's like,
I know some
I
beautiful women
Right.
at 30 years old, 35. In fact, it's women I know at 70 that are gorgeous. You ever, Sophia Loren? I know young people who listen to my podcast don't know. Go look her up. She is gorgeous.
Definitions of beauty have been changing a bit in pageantry and how it's seen and what beauty is. And I think culturally as well, and now we are in the day and age of Instagram and social media and being airbrushed and it's kind of distorted also people's views, but in pageantry they are looking more at defining beauty as being confidently beautiful. So it's not just, you're not just looking at the body or you're actually looking at the whole person and what they bring to the table. They want a smart, intelligent, creative woman who can handle the pressure. It's a lot of pressure.
Oh, I can imagine. There's questions there because I think I agree with you. I think TV and the internet has distorted everything from sex. I mean, you go onto a porn site and you think they all look like that, or you think they all can perform like that, and we all know that's bullshit. At least I do. But
Yeah.
as a woman like yourself that has competed in these pageants, they have a talent end of it, right? Don't they have a talent?
Well, not Miss USA.
There's no talent.
Miss America has the talent. Miss America, where you can sing and dance. But I did have talent.
What did you do?
I tap dance. I did compete.
Seriously, with tap dance? People don't know. This is a hidden thing. People can look at Larry Lawton and they go, "What's his?" I love tap dancing.
I love tap dancing.
I do. It's just something. I loved Gregory Hines. I loved Sammy Davis Jr. The movie Tap with Gregory Hines as a jewel thief. I recommend that to everybody to see. It's one of the great. They brought in some of the greatest tap dancers in the world, and it's just an amazing movie. It's called Tap. Go check it out, everybody. But as far as now, let me get back. So you tap dance. You're now 19 years old, and you decide to join the Miss Vermont
USA. Mm-hmm.
And you said this pressure. Where are you at? Are you, first of all, is there any rules to it? Like, can you have fake tits? Can you have fake eyes?
They have plastic surgery all the time. I mean, the plastic surgery has become a lot more normalized now. I mean, women were doing it then, but now it's more normalized. I mean, back in the day, if you had rhinoplasty, it was like a big secret.
What is that?
Or something. When people get their nose refined, or but girls have, in the past, they got ribs taken out. They got liposuction. They got, especially women that are coming from the other countries. A lot of the girls have veneers. They do that to refine. So when you see these girls on TV, I'm not saying that they're not beautiful, but they definitely, a lot of them will enhance themselves in some way, shape, or form because it's just difficult.
They should set some rules, man. Like, NFL, you get caught with steroids, you're out. In the baseball, how about, you have any plastic surgery and they have somebody check and they can have a doctor check and they'll know. And you're out. Maybe let's get natural beauty. Don't get me wrong. I like plastic surgery. I bought many tits for women. I actually did back in the day. But now I look at it and say, listen, I mean, there's a lot more that intrigues me at my age. The brain, how the personality.
Yeah, they're trending in that direction. But, a lot of guys now, they're getting Botox and they're getting fillers and they're doing it in a way that makes them look natural. So I think you can do those things and still look natural and not look fake.
Yeah, but it's not about looking natural. It's I don't know. It's a contest that you should put. So what happens is if you have money, you can look prettier than a girl who doesn't have money. And, I look at this just for the record.
And the
Larry,
dress that you buy or what
absolutely.
you can afford, because you have to understand that a lot of these trainers can be very expensive too. And they get training for walking and talking and how to answer questions and to kind of know the psychology of the game of being able to win a pageant. There is this whole psychology to it.
Wow, that's amazing. And for the record, I've never had any plastic surgery, not Botox once, never had a thing in my life. That's it. I mean, I got to put that
I'm
for
sure
record.
they don't offer that in prison. So
Not in prison, but they sure do out here. I mean, I know doctors who do it. In fact, I have doctor friends who are very renowned in that. And so now I just want to get to, so now you become, now at this time, are you in college? Are you working on your degree? You are a doctor. You are a doctor of psychology, correct?
Yes, psychotherapy. So I have my PhD now, but back in the day, I was actually practicing. I was pre-med.
Okay, you were pre-med.
I really didn't know what I wanted to do in my life exactly. So
do you know what you want to do today?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm doing it, and I'm developing something else. So it's different now. I mean, people think I'm 28, but I have.
Well, you look great. I mean, I don't know how much work you had, and I'm not going to ask you on that.
And that's one of the hardest things, is to be a former something or other. In your case, as a former ex-con, but in my case, as maybe a former beauty queen. So as I get older, it's kind of like, okay, like.
No, absolutely. I get
comparing you to the past. So that's also a lot of pressure, like you can fall from grace. And a lot of former beauty queens do fall from grace.
And is there a suicide rate? Is there a high suicide rate?
Well, we had the former Miss USA of a couple of years ago that jumped, actually almost a year ago today. She fell to her death in New York. 30 floors.
She jumped?
She did. Chelsea Chris. I talked about it on NBC News. They interviewed me about it.
So Chelsea Chris jumped.
She had the world going for her. She was a former Miss USA. I believe she was on Extra. She was a correspondent there. She was a lawyer. She was smart. She was pretty. I mean, she was so nice. She had everything going for her, and nobody really understood what happened. But she jumped to her death.
Okay.
Suicide.
So this person jumps to her death. For listen, suicide's an issue I take.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I
and there's so many celebrities doing it now.
Oh, I was going to commit suicide when I was in prison. When I was in the hole for 11 straight months. I talk about that on the air all the time. But something inside, somebody tells them no or whatever it is. What is it in suicide? Now I'm asking you as a doctor. What is it in suicide that makes a person think about it? I know people, we all go through bad times. I mean, that's life. I don't care if it's financial. I don't care if it's personal. I don't care what it is. We all go through bad parts.
Yeah.
What makes one person commit suicide and another not?
They see, a lot of those people, they see no way out. And honestly, they're so depressed that they've lost connection to their spirit. They have soul wounds that are so deep that need healing. And they also have really bad belief systems, and their emotions they don't know how to handle. In some cases, they're on medications that are not the right, medications for them, or they're not being treated properly. And in some cases, they've tried to get help and it hasn't worked. So they see no way out. Like, if the doctors can't help me, if the authorities can't help me that I trust, there's no hope. And when they see no hope, they just think about death. And a lot of people have suicidal ideation, to be honest with you. That's really common.
Well, explain to the audience what suicide ideation, how do you pronounce it?
It's almost like ideation. It's almost like they fantasize about it. They fantasize about thinking about death. But a lot
And that's not counting a guy who does the rope around his neck and jerks off at the door and then dies.
No.
That's common, I heard. It's called
asphyxiation, but that's more of like an accidental kind of thing. But people who have suicidal ideation are thinking that they want to die, but then they don't have an actual plan to. So there's a lot of people that will say, oh, I want to die, and they're thinking about it, and they're almost like obsessing about it. A lot of people. But
really?
Oh, it's more common. And there's a lot of people that have self-harm behaviors.
I know those with the cutting and stuff like that.
A lot of people.
They have more of that than you think, huh?
All over the place, yeah.
Wow. Now, is there an age limit that has that? Like, is it young, old? I don't see many friends of mine or people I know who have that or cut. Or I know what it is because I deal with a lot of young people.
thing is about the cutting is that sometimes it's very discreet so that you wouldn't know. Like there are people, a lot of times when I'm doing assessments, I find out if they have any history of self-harm, or they have been self-harming. And sometimes it's on their thighs, it's in discreet areas. And sometimes it's on their arms. It's different places.
I read where when they do the cutting, it's really not
It
about
may not just
suicide.
be cutting either. It may be burning yourself.
Right. I get
or whatever.
even that harm. They say it's not
Yeah.
about suicide at all. It's they just want to hurt themselves.
Yeah, it kind of depends.
They like pain, maybe.
No, it's most of the time it's that they feel numb. They've been numbed by their own trauma, and that for them, they feel like a release, that they're connecting to themselves. But it's obviously depending on where they're cutting it or they're hurting themselves in their body, it means something different.
Oh, does it mean something? Because
Yeah.
I like pain. I mean, I don't mean that I do. It's little certain things. Pain doesn't bother me for some reason.
It's
We all
usually
have
like-
it, and I know it, and I don't want it.
Yeah.
But then I'll do something like needle. I take
That's
testosterone.
usually like an anger at the self. So it's like a lot of times I'll find out where on their body they cut, and I can tell by where they're cutting that, oh, maybe they had some sexual abuse, or oh, are they cutting on the left side or the right side? And that means something different in trauma world. It's like from the subconscious. So if they're cutting on one side of themselves, I know, okay, they're angry at themselves about something. If they're cutting on another side of themselves, usually they're angry at their abuser, somebody else.
Now that's not. I mean, obviously that's in stone. I mean, obviously it could be wrong. I mean, they could just do it, right? I mean, I'm sure there's a percentage of everything that you don't
Well, your
know.
subconscious has a lot of information, and so a lot of people don't think. I mean, even like the tattoos that you have, what do they mean? And people just go, "I just got this for fun." Okay, but from a symbolic perspective, I'm as a psychotherapist and all, and specializing in trauma, I can see through a lot of things, and I say, okay, when did this person get this tattoo? And I can look into the meaning of it and all of that. So, for you, it might be like, oh, nothing. But for me, I look at it from a different.
People who know me. They say, Larry, you got some fucking sick tattoos, but and crazy. So I often think, why did I do things? And I don't even know.
What is your first tattoo?
My first tattoo was actually my name on my arm.
Which arm?
My right arm.
Oh, okay.
And I was 16 years old, or 15. No, I was 15 years old. It was 1976. It was my name, Larry. My father says, hey, stupid, why don't you get your last name on the other arm and your address on your forehead? And my brother ended up getting a tiger tattoo. We went to uncle. We went to Amityville, Long Island with my uncle. My mother hit me with a waffle iron, those old waffle irons. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like funny. And I look back, obviously today tattoos are
it's
pretty
like,
normal.
Don't forget me.
Is that
don't forget
what?
Me.
What does the tattoo on the right upper arm mean? And my name.
You know what? Like not knowing it that much about really deep into your history, but if I just had to base on what you just said, I would say like you just don't want somebody to forget you. That somebody was putting you down, somebody was trying to forget you maybe in your life.
My abuse.
I often want to, and you're kind of like, you know what? Don't forget me.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, as it knows, I was abused at 11. Okay. So, and I look
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's in my book actually, and by a priest and all that. It is what it is. I don't ever make excuses for it, Lisa. I always look at something that happened to me, and I become stronger for it. And I want to educate somebody else on not letting that whatever it is. I mean, from prison, you can get arrested today and people think their life's over. I said, no. You have now something that a lot of people haven't been, and you need to educate people because it heals you. When I do my classes and my program and everything else, which is #1 program still, it's healing to me. You know what I mean? I feel good afterwards. I always do. I always did to this day. And it's just my help aspect. I like to help people in a lot of ways.
But see, the thing is, we all have different traumas and different griefs, and we go through that in life at different points of our life. And some people, they fall apart when they're going through it, and they kind of handle it wrong. And other people go through it, like the Buddhists and stuff, and they have a different way of just kind of reframing and going through that ego death experience is really painful. It can be very painful, but once you go through that experience and you actually heal yourself the right way, you kind of have an awakening, a spiritual awakening, and you become more renewed and you become enlightened. And if you're taking that path, then your life becomes more purposeful. and you feel good about it. But a lot of people don't take that path. They just say, okay, I'm stuck in the dark. I'm stuck in the hole. There's no way out. And I don't know what to do with this. And nothing's ever going to change. And I'm destined to suffer.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I never went to the spiritual route. Listen, I'm spiritual, period. But I never went to the religious route, maybe because of my trauma and younger. I don't buy into it. I don't buy into bullshit, and I think people just bullshit people by controlling them with religion and money. And I love that George Collins
I'm not really talking about religion, okay? I'm talking more about an awakening, for a soul awakening, okay, where you become enlightened in some way, shape, or form, like energetically. And that ego death that you go through, and I'm sure you went through that in prison, right? Where everything is like taken away, everything is different, everything you were attached to is now different. That really rattles the ego and it chips away. And that chipping away is so painful because it's how you're identifying yourself. You know, your I am, and like I'm, however you identified yourself is now falling away.
Well, you know, I think, my case, and you can analyze me from any way you want. When I was younger and I was making a lot of money and I was robbing, of course, I was a criminal. People know that. I think my sister said it great. She goes, Larry, you can buy all the shit you want. I had multiple homes, horses, boats, money, everything you can imagine, and had cash out the yank, everything. And she goes, you could keep buying another car, another boat, another bigger boat, horses, and you're trying to search for happiness, and you're not going to find it. And she was always right. But I learned one thing in prison more than anything, that everything you have is just shit. Meaning it's just stuff. Don't get me wrong. You like to live good. I don't give a fuck about living. I take care of my mom in this little house, and I love taking care of my mom.
Yeah.
That's more happy to me than anything.
Well, you're actually hitting on a really good topic, right? Because a lot of people think that if they do more, they'll have more, and then they'll be whatever it is, happy, or they'll be successful, and success is happiness. So that's the way you were living, doing, having, being. And actually, we need to flip into being, doing, having, being, coming from a place, getting in touch with your happiness from within you, right? And that's why I do a lot of meditations, and I really try.
Yeah, I know you're personally into yoga and all that, right?
Not yoga, but I do a lot of affirmations and I do meditations, and I'm really into manifesting and stuff. But just coming from that vibration of being and that vibration of abundance, and then I do the things that are in alignment with that, right? That would be in alignment with happiness or in alignment with abundance. And then what happens is the universe just kind of starts to magnetize those things that you want for you. So I might have more, right?
Yeah,
so
but as a psychologist and knowing what you know, doesn't you find yourself judging relationships, judging men, judging women, judging friends? I mean, that's got to be tough for you, because
really funny that you asked me that, because it's like I'll be out and I would just, close the door. I'm out at a restaurant or something, and someone approaches me and they find out what I do, and then they're saying, okay, like, what's wrong with me? And I kind of try to turn that part of myself off, because I'm not there like asking them all these questions and
to analyze them.
Analyze them. Like, there are definitely certain things that I pick up on, but I'll say to them, you know what? What's right with you? Let's talk about what's right with you. And I think that's the first question. When anybody asks me, or they say, what's wrong with me? I'm like, okay, they're trying to hide something here, but
so you already know they're,
yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm of the belief that everybody has some shit. Everybody has some background crap, but whatever it is, it's how you deal with it that makes it the best. Too many people, I can't do this. I said, listen to me, motherfucker. I got out of prison at 46 years old, penniless, done, in debt, and nothing. Every fucking thing materialistic was taken from me. And I come out, and you can make it. And I often tell people, I started my life over at 46, and you're bitching you're 30 fucking 5. Stop the fucking shit. Sometimes we don't need psychologists. We need a baseball bat in the fucking head. And that's just my fucking theory.
You sound like my mother.
Well,
my mother would say
really? I love that. That's my theory of it. And I know, listen, I see a psychologist. People don't know that. I have a psychologist for serious trauma, picking up dead bodies, picking up over 50 dead bodies in a month. and babies kept falling out of your arms dead and stuff. So, you start thinking, what the fuck is life worth? So I see a psychologist. The VA has that shit from PTSD and all that kind of stuff. And it helps. But when you get down to it, Larry's got to fucking get off his fucking chair and say, fuck this shit, man. You can kick my ass or not. Listen, people come to me, you need God. And they'll say, okay. And then I'll go, yeah, what is he going to do? And they go, no, you need God. And I said, am I going to heaven? Well, you don't know what the fuck I did in my life, man. Am I going to heaven? I'm not a believer in all that. So it's hard for me to grasp something fake. And a lot of times, well, in my opinion, that people do. And as a psychologist, you have to, I don't know where you find some people's, I guess, medium or their happy place. How do you get a person who's been fucked up like me this whole life and get them straight? I mean, it's got to be tough. That's got to be one of the toughest professions in the world.
What a lot of people don't realize, I do plastic surgery from the inside out, which is kind of a cool thing because I always wanted to be a plastic surgeon. I wanted to be a plastic surgeon.
Do I need a lot? I need my eyes.
Honestly, my vision's a little blurry, so I can't see that. You look good from here.
Thank you.
But I wanted to be a plastic surgeon, and I just didn't like all the blood and everything, so I never went that route. But I pretty much do plastic surgery from the inside out, right? And so how do you make someone up? And basically every experience that we have, it becomes registered on multiple levels, like in our mind, in our bodies, and in our spirit, right?
You and the spirit. You're talking. We're going to get into that in a minute.
And and so when our brain is processing an event like a trauma event, we go into the survival mode. Everybody does. It doesn't matter who you are, how smart you are, if you're a star, if you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor. Something's happening to you and your body is just going straight into survival mode. So your brain literally processes a trauma memory different than any other memory in regular time when you're rattled. So the emotion gets stored in one part of the brain, the core belief in another, and the event in another. And a lot of people don't know that they can become frozen in their experience, and that memory coded in their brain gets stored in the short-term memory. So they're getting a lot of flashback memories, body memories. People have physical symptoms and they don't know what's going on. They can't sleep at night and they're running to the doctor, give me a medication.
Ambien.
Yeah, and they don't understand why. But when a lot of their traumas are cleared up and they're re-imprinted and healed, they find that they're able to sleep better and they're able to do a lot of things better. So our experiences sort of get frozen and crystallized and sort of put in our matrix of experiences of life. And even though those experiences are not happening now, they're still there and they're still informing the way we act in life and how we're manifesting. So there's a lot of different ways, Larry, that I go about changing those memories. And it's not that you don't know what happened to you, it's just that your subconscious has a different experience of it, so that that you can manifest differently from that point.
And so now let's get into the spirit. You said you always been talking since we just started, the spirit.
Yeah.
Did you believe like if a person dies, the spirit leaves, it like goes up to heaven or some shit?
No, I mean, let's not even go there.
So we have to. I mean, you're talking about it. What's a spirit?
I'm a healer, okay, and there's a lot of energy in my work too. It's not just psychology, but I believe, what are we? A body, mind, and soul. We're our being, and the problem is that we believe that we're just thinkers. We believe that our who I am. Okay, I think, therefore I am, Descartes. That is, we're so misinformed because we believe that it's our thinking that is what we are, and that is the problem that a lot of people have, is that they get caught up in the thoughts. And it's a lot of their thinking that are sort of running their life, like, I am the personality, I am the doctor, I am my labels, I am my car, I am my things.
But if you're not that, what are you?
We're being. We are our being, and actually.
But being doesn't pay a bill, number one, right?
Well, it's how we can redirect our being, right? We come from our being, so we come from a place of being.
I'm calling bullshit, because being is what? we are who we are, product of our past. We are a product of our childhoods, and
we are.
So
We
now,
are.
how do you? I mean, obviously, I think you, Dr. Palmer, are a person who's. I'm sure you have your own trauma. We all have our own traumas, and I believe in that. And but you've overcome them. You've become better for them.
Some of them,
yeah, I'm
some
sure,
of
and I'm
some-
sure all of them
some
are
not.
life challenges.
Yeah.
I believe that as well. But I don't know. I just for you. You say you're a being. What is a being?
Soul.
Give me a
Your
being.
soul. Like, I think that when we go through a lot of our traumas, we have soul wounds, and it affects us. We don't quite feel the same. We oftentimes feel that something is ripped out of us. When someone dies, and you feel like something is just ripped out of you. It's just not the same. What is that?
Is it another word for soul?
Well, here's the thing, Larry. You're trying to explain in 3D what a being is, but we can't explain certain things like gravity. There's no, it is just is. It just is there, and you can't fully explain in 3D. And a lot of times that's another point, is that a lot of people look at their 3D circumstances and think that that their 3D circumstances can't change. That you are not your circumstances. Their circumstances may have been defining your life to this point, but circumstances can change. And how do you change your circumstances? That you understand that when you can come from a better place of being that comes from within yourself, that you start to see things manifest differently. And I think in your life, what you said, hey, look, I came out of prison and I had nothing and I started with nothing. What was that something within you, that spark of light, or that purpose, or that desire to do something different, that magnetized things different in your own life?
Well, I believe people change. Number one, I always said that. People said people don't change. I said, hold on. When you're 20, you think you know it all. You go hit
True.
30 and you go, what the fuck? I didn't know shit at 20. You hit 40 and you go, fuck, I didn't know shit at 30. You hit 50 and you say, man, I didn't know shit. Well, I hit 60. I'm 61. And I go, man, I'm still learning every day, whether it's technology, whether it's people, whether it's, and I think we do change. I think we always change for the better, because I think knowledge just is going to help you change for the better. I think my core, and you're calling it spirit. I call my core. I always help people. Even when I was a young kid, I like to help people. I always like to make sure people were taken care of. I can't stand bullies. I can't stand people who judge other people, whether it's for money or this or looks or whatever. I'm not into that. Of course, we all have our preferences, all things we want, and I agree with all that. I just think people get stuck in, people don't change their stripes, or people aren't going to change. That's fucking bullshit.
That's true.
And then I look at young people who think their lives are over. I just don't call any of that spirit or soul. I don't know why. Maybe I don't believe in it, and that's just me.
Here's what we're talking about. We're talking about the difference between an understanding and an understanding. Okay. And a lot of people are trying to do a lot of reading to understand, and that is great to understand, but sometimes all the understanding in the world doesn't help you with an understanding. And so getting to that understanding is really
understanding, meaning you're
within yourself, cutting out the noise, cutting out the ideas about what should be, or how you should be, or how analysis paralysis.
No, I get that, because I have a question for you.
You resolve problems, and a lot of people are just resolving their problems wrong.
I'm gonna give you a question. I was on a show the other night. I was on the Rude Jude show on Sirius XM 45. It's called Shade 45, and he's one of the biggest shows on Sirius. He's a good friend of mine, and they consider me an expert on swinging. Right, so we
swinging from what?
Yeah, swinging from relationship wise. As a single person, and I'm letting you know, Doc, I'm single. No, I'm a believer in. Too many people want to live the way other people think they should live, whether it's, I don't care if it's political or sexual or whatever. Be to yourself. Don't give a fuck what other people think. As long as you respect other people, you do the right thing by other people. I think everybody should be accepted. Yeah. I do. There's no hate in my heart for anybody who does anything. You know that.
You're one of the most open-minded people I've ever met.
Thank you. Yeah, I believe, and I am, and I truly am.
You really, truly are.
I am, because I don't believe in being put in a box.
Right.
I think when we put people in boxes, your creativity goes down. I think as you know me
And
for
the
a
more
long time.
creative you are, probably the more sexual you are too. So
Probably, and I'm very
That's actually
creative.
yeah.
No, I mean, I believe in that because I just believe that, listen, sex, everything is in your own balance. You know, you want to have sex a lot, be in a sex business or whatever it is. I don't look at porn stars. I don't look at people who swingers and look at them and judge them in any different way. I just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have the right to judge people. You know, who am I? Now, do we judge? The minute you walk in a room, you judge people.
But see, that might be your asset that a lot of people don't have, right? Because they get into the judgment of others, but they're also judging themselves. And when you say that you don't judge other people, you probably have a bit of forgiveness for yourself too, like where you're not judging yourself for things that you did. Not that you don't see it as bad or whatever, but you're kind of like maybe more forgiving toward yourself than most other people.
Great. You know, boy, that's the first doctor who actually analyzed me in a way I honestly believe that, and I mean that because I had to get to that point
you have to
in my
be able
life
to move on.
Yeah, to say, you know, yes, I caused a lot of damage. Yes, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the wrong thing to do, but
getting to that self-forgiveness.
Yeah, you know, you have to forgive yourself before you can forgive anyone else, and not only that, people have to get over shit. You know, I mean, this is life. We only live on this planet for X amount of years. You want to live like a fucking person that's owe me shit? Listen, you know my trauma. I've been strapped down naked,
well, a lot
beaten,
of people
tortured.
think that they're the effect of a cause, right? And they stay there. And then what happens is the uncertainty of the future worries them because they go, okay, well, if I'm the effect of a cause and there's nowhere to go from here, then my future is going to look the same as now, right? So when you're coming from a place of, okay, how can I cause something different in the future? And then I can become empowered from within, then I'm not just an effect of a cause. I can become a cause of an effect in a positive way. And that's where I see you.
Let's get away from me here for a second, because this show's about you.
Oh.
This show, well, it is, and that's it. You know, we've had some serious shit here. We are in Florida, that anybody knows, listens around the world. I am in the state of Florida. We had Fort Myers had one of the worst hurricanes we've hit, and I know because I had a vacation spot down there, and I lost that. That's trauma, correct? That's a trauma that hits a person.
100%.
Now, how does a person turn away? And I'll tell you why I'm only saying this. There's a guy I had on the show, and he's a fan of mine. Actually, he was on a cruise. I had a company cruise, and fans just came on the cruise. And they wanted to meet me, and we had a great time. Well, this young man, I'll name his name Nick, and his Liz, his fiance. They went through rough. They were huddled in a closet in their house when they're hearing the roof get ripped off their house. I mean, you want to talk, and she, what do we do? And he goes, I don't know. And they held each other, and they thought they were going to die.
Yeah.
They came out of this unbelievably grateful, and you should see the attitude of this person. It's just amazing. It's almost like this tragedy made them better. Does that sound like what I'm talking about, or is that normal?
It can for some people, but for probably a large majority of people, they're going to feel a lot of different things in that situation of feeling unprotected, unsafe, but also have this incredible grief of the loss of things that they had and the unknown. And the thing about this that a lot of people don't realize, that long after that event is over, they're left with the remnants of that event, of feeling that at any moment, whatever stability they have could be ripped from them. And that could be a job. That could be anything. And the brain sometimes doesn't know the difference, right, between that. So they are kind of living in fear. So you might have someone who went through a hurricane years ago, and yet that imprint is made so deeply in them that they may have fear of new beginnings. They may fear that if they start something, that it would fall apart, or it would fail, or would be taken away from them.
Well, man, you're hitting on a lot of deep stuff. And I want to get into some not so deep, but we're going to analyze a couple of people, or analyze a couple of situations.
Okay.
Sexuality.
Okay.
Well, no, we got to go there, because everything is based on sex in this world.
Yeah.
Somewhat to a degree.
Yeah.
Why are some people very sexual or very horny, get hard-ons, and guys or girls, or some not? You call them a dead fish, or some go. or a woman who just doesn't want sex all the time. There has to be. I mean, I listen. Obviously, you know me. I love sex. I think it's one of the greatest things in the world because it's a release for me of a lot of things.
Right.
And I don't have the hangups of sexuality. But what is it with people? Where does that come from?
So these are very, deep questions because first of all, when you talk about people who are denying their sexuality, and I don't want to be general.
You're talking about guys gay and they don't want to say he's gay.
We're kind of a couple of different things. There's a lot of different.
No, tell me. I mean, there's bondage. There's beatings or what? I don't know.
Like people who are have intimacy issues and are denying sex. A lot of times that they've had traumas regarding that where they were abused or they were raped, and they feel very disconnected and detached from that aspect of themselves.
That's me, because I am not a very intimate person.
So I was going to get to you in a minute.
I'm fucked.
But like on a general level, right? So there's dissociation that happens with trauma, and so literally they'll feel disconnected, right? Or they'll feel invaded, and so they'll be in rejection of that. So but a lot of people, so some guys, I mean, especially men, but it could be with women too. You might be connecting to that, that sacral chakra area, that root area as
well, you can't just say those kind of big words.
Express yourself.
You can't say those big words. You're talking about underneath the balls.
That area.
Is that what I mean? That's the area.
It's a nice way of saying.
Is that the sacral?
In that sort of area in there,
you got to let my audience know. They're listening, saying, "What the fuck is a sacral? Whatever." I don't know what it is.
You like to go, sex. That area, your sexual parts, but it's not just sex. It's energy. You're doing an energy exchange. You're doing a release. You even said it. And so sometimes people, instead of expressing their emotions, they're feeling some kind of a release when they're having sex, and they're feeling some kind of a connection. But in some way, for some people, it can be a disconnect in other ways, right? So where they're not expressing themselves vocally, they're expressing themselves sexually. So the sexual act, depending on what it is, we're talking about fetishes. Now we're going into fetishes.
Oh, now we're talking my kind of show.
Yeah, that has a lot of
fetishes.
There's a lot of symbolism around different fetishes.
Well, I do know this, and I read a big thing on this, like guys of power or who run companies or whatever, and they like to be dominated by a woman behind the scenes. Yeah. It's because they're always in charge and they want that different thing. And like you said,
I mean, look, we don't want to like generalize. Everybody has their own reasons and their own subconscious, experience.
No, but we got you here. You got it.
Yeah, but that's true. I mean, look, I had to do, one of the things about being a psychotherapist is that I have to be comfortable with anybody, any topic, and I have to understand, right? A lot of people don't. I really believe in participant observation, where you're not just reading about something in a book, but you're really going into the community. Like I'm sitting here with a former ex-con, I'm getting to know your life experience, and I've hung out with you, right? So you kind of have to hang out with the people.
So you knew I was fucked up before you got here.
Yeah, always. So there's a certain curious nature, and so I do that, and it's one of the things I had to do in this is I had to go into those communities and understand the culture behind LGBT and all that, and get in there, and bondage and fetishes, and understand sort of like the culture around that.
But how do you get a young person who is, I don't know, I don't even understand this, because this is going to be, listen, I don't know what they call ace. I'm a person who really, I have no label. I don't believe in the labels, number one. But you get a young person, he says, oh, I've been gay since you're born, which I get.
They don't identify with.
Wait, I get that. I mean, okay, so you're gay from you're born. How do you know you're gay? What is gay? Or how do you know you're straight? I think everybody's everything. I really do.
Right,
I think everybody has everything in them, meaning you could be in a situation with a guy, you could be a situation with a girl, you could be a situation with both. You've been in, as a person who's been in swingers clubs, I have no hang-ups or any of that nature. I'm happy. Like I truly believe most people should be, because I do have intimate issues. I totally do.
Well, you just said that perfectly, right? Because intimacy, you meant to say intimacy, right? and you said intimacy, and that was like perfect because that was like a little slip there, because I always say, what is intimacy? It's into me see. So it means that you don't want people to see a certain part of yourself, or maybe you don't want to see a certain part of yourself. So there's a vulnerability there of no access. So as much as you put out there, and as much as you talk, and as much as naked and open and whatever that you are, there is still that there's still that something of that closed door in you of, I don't want you to see this about me, but it's really not what others seeing about you, it's what you don't want to see about yourself. And when you're in that experience where you're so, I guess, quote unquote, vulnerable and open in a sexual experience, a lot of your own wounds can come up, like where you're seeing yourself in a way that you're denying.
Jesus fucking, that's deep shit, because I you know, as a person, like it says, who doesn't, I enjoy sex a lot, and I don't do it. Maybe I don't. That's all just fucking bullshit. I don't know. You know, you're really hitting on a lot of shit with me. You know, I want to get, I wish I can get somebody else in here, and I won't, but, for analyzing, you know, that's a show right there. I think you need to have a call-in show where you can analyze. Have you done that before?
I've never done that before. No,
I'd love to have you on our show.
I don't even know if I can do. I mean, I can do it. I don't know if I can do it.
Well, you know what? I mean, I think you'd be great because you speak very well, Doc. I mean, you speak very well.
Entertainment, for entertainment purposes.
Well, you do a lot of TV. Let everybody know. Dr. Palmer's on a lot of different shows.
Inspired by you, by the way. I remember when I saw you were like, you need to be on TV. And I was like, what do you mean?
And you've been on it for 10 years, too, since I've known you. And I think you'd have a great thing where you'd have a call-in show where a person could get analyzed. I don't know if there is one. And I don't mean you have to you know, be guaranteed analyzed, but I think you could help people at least understand. I should do a call-in show, and I should analyze these fuckers and just say, listen, go get your dick sucked, man.
We should do a true crime show and analyze some of these
true crime, you know,
crazy people that.
Listen, you can analyze them all. They're all into one bucket. If you really want to think it, I mean, you take a Jeffrey Dahmer.
You're the psychiatrist now. Are you the?
Well, listen, I look at this and I don't know how. Yeah, I think I'm what they call.
Well, you spent a lot of time with them in prison.
Oh,
you were exposed, like real participant.
Oh, fucking right. I know guys who killed multiple bodies, cut them up. One guy cut a head off.
Honestly, it'd be interesting combination of you and I, your experience and mine.
I'd probably I think people are gonna know how I feel real quick. For fucking shoot them, kill them, get them out of here. Let's move on. You have a heart. I have a heart too, obviously, but I think you have that great perspective of just giving that young kid who's sitting here and he's listening to my show, he's working, and he wonder why he's like, you know, going in the bathroom, jacking off 5 times a day.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that now.
And I don't think I did that when I was a kid.
And you know, the thing is though, this actually is a big topic now because
what, jacking off?
No, this is. It's the whole like OnlyFans and how normalized this has become to have a relationship virtually with someone and not be connected to them in person.
And is there something wrong with that?
People are having a harder time actually connecting with people in the physical because they're becoming so used to being behind a scrn. You
didn't know something. I was offered $1 million in 30 days. $1 million in 30 days to open an OnlyFans. For something.
Why didn't you do it?
Because it had to do with below my waist. Just that was going to be the OnlyFans.
And you were like, no.
Well, because I have other things going on. I have no problems opening OnlyFans. I have zero problem. In fact, I know a lot of OnlyFans ladies. I even know an OnlyFans guy and all that. And good for them. Whatever the fuck you want to do. Yeah. I really don't think it's bad. Now, maybe I'm wrong, Doc. This is you're coming from your area now. But
I don't.
What the fuck? Who gives a shit? We don't. Nobody cares about porn. I don't know one person I know who does not watch porn in some way or not. I don't mean they obsessed with it.
Hey,
but
listen,
they watch it.
Yeah, but you know the thing is, the big topic now with this is how a lot of this is affecting relationships and is how it's affecting, especially the dynamics and the intimacy, like you were talking about before, because people are becoming comfortable with themselves behind a screen.
Yeah, but isn't it faking if they fucking weren't into it? Listen, if you got intimacy or bullshit and you really had this, whatever you do and whatever it is, maybe a voyeurism, you want to be an exhibitionist or whatever the hell it is, it doesn't matter. If you want to do it, you do it, and then you say they're doing it for this reason. Didn't they want to do it anyway? I mean, are they hiding it? So then when they're in a relationship for a long time, like I am very happy single. Doesn't mean I don't have nightly relationships and stuff. Or there's not a person that I
Right.
really want to be with that I always want to think about. You know, that happens all the time.
Mhm.
And obviously I think about some people that I know, and there's somebody I think about now all the time. But I don't sit here.
That's me, right?
Always.
know
I
it's
always
me.
thought
I
about
knew
you.
that was you.
You could feel the vibe.
I can feel
Oh,
the vibe.
wow. Do you believe in that?
You know what? It's kind of crazy. Like, I'll have followers that feel like they've met me before because they see my picture, and they'll message me and they'll be like,
You're on
"Oh,"
Instagram and all that, right?
yeah, and Facebook, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'll pick you up at this time," or, "You're so beautiful." Like, they'll send me poetry, like they know me.
You need to open an OnlyFans.
I mean, it's like,
You ever think about it?
no, I mean, I'm obviously not in my fields. Can I do something like that? But
Why not? See, that's bullshit.
well,
You
there's
should be
laws
able to
and
do
rules of that
whatever
shit.
you want to do. And if you like it, you do it. Just because you're an
Yes.
OnlyFans person, you can't be a psychologist?
No, you can't do those things. I mean, you can't do a lot of things. You
Fuck.
can't
I don't believe in
show-
that. See, I'm not.
You have to be. I'm a healer. You have to.
So
show,
you have to bullshit. You have to lie that you're something you maybe
I mean,
not want to be.
I wouldn't do it anyways. to
Okay,
be
okay,
honest with
maybe
you,
not.
But I mean, there's certain things that you just can't do. That I stay neutral about.
People say
because,
that about me, and you know how I say go fuck
Yeah, but
yourself.
your whole thing is different. I'm licensed, and I have people. Even like if they know your politics or whatever, they may not see you, and it's.
See,
It's a
that
lot of
goes
things.
back to the
And
bullshit.
let me tell you something. A long time ago, when I first became a therapist and I was new in the field, I didn't want to do a social media page. Like, I didn't want people to realize, okay, she can go out on the weekend and she's like a real person. You want them to see you sort of like from a neutral standpoint. And then I kind of got rid of all that. I was like, you know what? I'll start going and putting stuff. And I realized that people like to see what you're really doing, right? To some degree. And they like, sometimes I'll put a workout video up there and they'll be like, oh, you really inspired me. And they see that you're a real person. And
You
they
did.
see
You
that,
got some hot workout
that,
videos.
that I live.
Got to go check them out,
I
people.
live a balanced life. Like, I do live a balanced life.
But do you live a
balance?
balanced life because you have to, or do you live a
No.
balanced because you want to?
That's me. I do it because
Okay.
I want it. Like,
Okay.
I am, like,
And that's
even
cool.
Even though that's my brand, like, I literally do embody my brand. I mean, I'm not going to say every day.
No,
is a
you do.
balanced
Like
day,
I do
but
mine. You
I
do.
balance my brand.
I know you personally.
And you embody your brand.
I'm the not give a fuck person.
You
and
are
I
that
am.
guy.
But I do care about people deeply.
I know you do.
And I want to help
I
people. I
wouldn't
want to
be
hear
here
that.
otherwise.
And I know you do embody your brand because
Yeah.
you do like to work out, but you love helping people and you are who you are.
It's just
I
everything.
just think that people who don't how do you say it? They do things just because they got to do them, and then they're giving advice or whatever.
They're not
I always
happy
wondered
people,
did
though.
Ann Landers and all those fuckers really not suck dick and shit because they said they were
Some of them were a lie. I mean,
right, a
they put
total lie.
Like, they put a face up of what they were, and they talk about balance, everything, and then behind the scenes, it was like their life was a disaster. And I think that's what we're seeing with
you know
a
what
lot
that
of
is?
stars now.
That's
a lot of
preachers. Most preachers, that's fucking, the guys that get up on the podium and then you find out later they're in the bathroom sucking dick or they're doing whatever. And again, I don't give a fuck what they do, but don't be such a hypocrite on one way.
Oh, I mean, I know.
All they do it for money.
There's
obviously.
hypocrisy.
That
in
is
religion,
hypocrisy.
too.
You're right.
There's a lot of hypocrisy.
And I'm not, listen, anybody out there, I'm not knocking religion. I really, I knock
But there's a lot
cons.
of politics there.
I knock cons. You know what really got me, and we're going to get into a little bit of this because you knew. It used to say, listen, I knew Donald Trump, knew of him, met him 5 times, I think it was. I don't hate Donald Trump. Donald Trump was who he was.
I thought you guys were best friends.
Yeah, no.
I thought you were. I swear I saw a picture of
Yeah.
you. And you guys were like, he was
That's
giving
you getting on his helicopter.
He was giving the thumbs up and everything. I thought I met him.
That was you
remember
getting
that.
on his helicopter. I've seen that one, legitly. But no question. I mean, listen, he did what he did. I mean, Donald Trump was Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Donald Trump was a New Yorker who
Mhm.
literally conned middle America to think he loved them. My thing is, how do the religious people who profess that this is this, how do they jump in bed with the lies and the everything he's done? Grab her by the pussy was the greatest fucking line with Billy Bush. I'm going to see Billy Bush. I mean, I'm gonna get into Bill Bush, and I felt, but he got fucking the raw end of that deal. He got raw end of that deal.
You know what I think? A lot of people who gravitate to Trump, they like his honesty. And some of them actually, from a trauma perspective or whatever you want to say, a lot of them felt like, hey, you know, I was put down, or I was subjugated in my life, or I wasn't heard, or I was treated in some type. So they relating to him. Some people are actually relating to him on some level, and they feel a cause, you know, in the way that they're
Yeah,
drawn
but
to.
listen, if you can't spot bullshit or you can't see he's lying, he says it right. They'll catch him in a fucking lie on tape. I respect women, but you got to grab a woman by the pussy and just fucking grab her and kiss her.
Is there a politician that doesn't lie?
Nah,
Listen, hey, hold on. I worked in Washington, and I worked for the Clinton administration.
Oh, I didn't say that. They're all liars too.
And I mean, I'm not. Listen, I tried to stay neutral. I want to stay neutral, but you know, it's all in the blood of.
Here's a guy. That's a president who put a fucking cigar in a girl's pussy. I mean, literally in the Oval Office.
Why, you were there? You saw?
No, come on. We all know that. Shit, man. Listen, that's
allegedly.
Okay, allegedly he didn't have sex, but the cum was on her dress. I mean, that's proven. That's why he got. You know, Bill Clinton and I have something in common. Very common. I have
something to say about that, but it's inappropriate.
Well, I'm gonna say something that Bill Clinton and I have exactly in common. Did you know Bill Clinton and I were charged with the same exact crime?
Which was
18 USC 1001, which is a federal code for filing a false statement. Bill Clinton was charged with that when he said he did not have sex with Monica Lewinsky, and it was proven, and he was charged and convicted of that crime. Larry Lawton said his partner was John Rodriguez, and they ended up finding out there was no such thing as a John Rodriguez. 6 years after my original conviction, I was then convicted in 2002 or 3, but what years, I'm not exactly sure, of 18 USC 1001 filing a false statement to the federal government. So I get it, what you're saying right to me now. Listen, they're all criminal. Listen, you're right. Politicians are criminal. Donald Trump to me, the religious, it's not Donald Trump. It's the people who profess to be these holier-than-thou people that don't want you to do it. They'll look at me because I say, jacking off, or I want to fucking be in group sex, or I'm a swinger.
Like people who are in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, kind of thing. I can't stand that.
But bingo.
Because it's so easy to be like telling somebody what they should do, and then you see them turn around like the dentist with broken teeth. It's like, who are you to tell me I should do this, and then your teeth are falling out?
No, Doc, you're 100%.
I hate that.
Well, no, you
personally.
Know, personally, I'm gonna give you some little advice. I don't hate anything. I dislike a lot of things.
I said I hate that, not a person.
No, hate is such a negative word. I remember. Let me tell you what happened to me. My cousin who does what you do, but in a different way. She's met the Dalai Lama 3 times.
Oh, really?
She's amazing. The smartest woman I've ever met in my life. Ever in my life. She saved my life when I got out of prison. I tell that story all the time. But anyway, Cheryl says to me, she goes, listen, Larry, I used to want to, and for 5 years, I was planning the murders of the people who abused me in prison. The guards that took me, strapped me down, took their dicks out, peed on my face. And it's in my book, Gangster Redemption. Mm-hmm. And I literally I used to plan their murders. I was so consumed by that hate that we were together. And she goes, Larry, you are letting them re-traumatize you over and over and over again by hating. I'm not saying you have to like it, you have to do anything. He goes, but the word hate is just killing you. You have to get hate out of your heart. And if you don't get hate out of your heart, you're going to be consumed with this and live it and die from it. Mm-hmm. And boy, was she right. Until I actually now.
So how did you get the hate out of your heart?
You know, it was a lot of, with her, a lot of talking and stuff. And I don't hate him. I feel bad for him. And she goes, what do you mean?
You reframed it.
Well,
sort of.
No, if that's what it's called. What I've done was, Doc, is I now look at them and say, their life must be so bad. Mm-hmm. They must go home and their wife must slap the shit out of them or fuck them, do whatever,
right?
Because they have to abuse a man who's in the worst part of his life to get whatever enjoyment out of them. Mm-hmm. So they must have such a bad life.
Yeah.
I kind of like think that way. Maybe they don't, maybe they do, but I don't care. And I don't I try not to. Everybody does. But I really try not to use the word hate, because hate just hurts you. The person you hate or the thing you hate, listen, you might hate somebody or something. They could care less. They don't even know you hate them, but you're eating yourself up with that hate.
Yeah, it's true.
And I won't do that. I
It's
won't
true.
do that to myself. I've gotten to that place in my life.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm 61 years old. I'll be 62. Can you believe this shit? I feel great though. And you
Man.
know, and
Where did time go?
oh fuck. Yeah, you probably knew me when I was
It's
about
pretty
50.
wild, you know, like how
I knew you when you were young.
I'm not young now.
You're well,
I look younger now.
you
but
look
yeah,
young.
yeah,
You always
yeah.
looked young.
But it's interesting with age because we just think like when we're older, it just becomes more of a number. I mean,
Oh, I hate it. The number, I
I
hate.
hate
I
that
hate. I
number.
hate. No, I'm
Hey,
only
you
joking.
just said
I
that.
just said
You
that.
just said
I
it,
just
Kai.
said I hate. I hate. I hate.
I don't like that number. But I remember when my father was alive and he was sick. He had ALS. And I asked him, it was his birthday.
I remember.
And he was in his late 70s. And I asked him, and he couldn't even hold a fork. I mean, it was really sad. But my dad was such a strong guy. And he was so just to just be incapacitated like that and to be such
Same
a strong,
with my dad with Alzheimer's.
strong man, you know, a really strong but kind man and very grateful for everything. He had a lot of gratitude. And I remember saying to him, Dad, how old do you feel today? And he said 35. And I was like, how did this man who can't even hold a fork and can't, you know, lift himself, how does he feel 35? And, you know, I'm going to go back to it, but it was inside. It was his being. It was his spirit. It wasn't about his hands or his legs or his physical aspect, but it was like what was within him.
That's amazing. You're an amazing woman, Doc. You really are. You have a lot of knowledge, and you're calm. This calms me down as much as it does. Now, I know you when we're out here, when we're out at a bar, maybe you don't. But no, you know, you have a lot of obviously inner strength that you do. I'm sure you've got your own ways to cope with bad things and good things and everything that happens. We all do. I really do. I've gotten to that place in life that I never really gave a shit about a lot of things. I mean, and I don't let never did. I like them, but I don't let materialistic things. I think life is more, you want to live a life. We all have to live a good life. Listen, I want your car you got out front of the studio. But
you know, it's really funny. I've known a couple of ex-cons and, you know, they're ex-cons for different reasons and did it in different ways. And the interesting thing, a couple of them were in Fed like you. The interesting thing about it, they all had in common is that they were all millionaires at one point in their life when they were younger.
Really?
And the other thing is they had lost everything and had to start out fresh, just like you. And the other thing that they had in common is every one of them said to me, even though I don't have what I had then, I'm a lot happier now and I'm not my things.
That is so true. And I'll bet they were all good in bed.
Every single one of them said the same thing.
Oh, you didn't want to say every single one are good in bed? You didn't know.
Nope.
You might not know, but you know, I was told by a couple of women. And
why do you think that is? What's your analysis on that?
Why do I think ex-cons are good in bed? You know,
yeah. Why?
Okay. Why do I think we are? Or
what happened to you in prison?
No, I don't think it's a habit. I think it becomes in your head.
Absolutely happened.
Nope. Sex is in your head. Everybody thinks it's in your groin or whatever it is. Right. It's in your head. The mind is the greatest part of sex in the life. And when you're open to yourself and you're open to crazy shit, because you see crazy shit in prison, that you realize, man, enjoy this fucking shit. Because one, it can be gone tomorrow. Everything can go tomorrow. I mean, you see,
there's a certain open-mindedness that I say that someone like yourself that's been to prison would have. But I think also the prison sort of would condition you to be able to have endurance.
Oh, you mean for the sex wise?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, that's true. I was told that endurance.
Yeah.
But I think also your physical health has a lot to do with that. I mean, there's people who have no physical health, and then they can have no endurance.
That is true.
But if you're talking about holding an erection and
mental endurance,
I think there's a way to, you know, shut down early ejaculation, if you want to call it that, or what is it called, premature ejaculation. I think you can go. And if you can't, guess what? There's a thing called Trimix.
But you also
it's
get
great.
some kind of
I should get a sponsorship for Trimix.
In prison, though, you get this like sexual anorexia in prison because you're not really having sex. I mean, in the way that you would want. So when you get out
there's
of
more sex going on than you think. Oh,
but,
look, I got the
Well, you know, but I mean, when you get out of prison, it's just like, okay, I'm free and I can do whatever. So you're kind of binging on sex and like using sex as a way to sort of binge on your expression of freedom.
I don't know, Bid. You know me a long time. I've been the way I am since I've been out. I mean, it's not, and I am the same way. So you'd think if you were binging because you got out, you have it. You at one point you said, "Fuck it," you've been out long enough. I've been out 15 years. So when I got
Yeah,
out,
but when you got out, were you kind of like, I want to go crazy? I mean, sexually, because
I did anyway.
Because there's no laws around that. You know, it's not really. I mean, you know, there's freedom around it. It's just like you're not breaking any laws. You know, so I think that in the mindset of someone like yourself, it's just kind of like, okay, I'm not breaking any laws. I can do whatever I want.
I just think that things turn you on. I mean, listen, we all have a brain.
That's fair.
I think everybody's brain it has whatever, like from, or you know, the
biggest. Are you going to donate your brain to science?
I
when
should.
You die?
What do you think? What I think, no, what I think in the brain,
Let's do it.
And I really do. I mean this. I think in the brain, I think everybody fights whatever really the things they like and stuff. You know, I like intelligence as much as I like.
Are you sapiosexual?
Or what is that?
Sapiosexual, like someone who's like turned on by smart people.
Oh, I am. Definitely.
Really?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh wow.
I am. Is that what it's
called?
What is?
Can I leave now?
No,
I'm getting a little scared here.
You should.
Wait
I'm not going to stand up.
Am I safe
I'm
here?
only teasing. Is it true though? Is that something?
Oh yeah. I was talking to someone the other night, and they were saying to me that they were sapiosexual. A friend of mine was telling me she was a sapiosexual.
Intelligence.
That intelligence turns some people on. That is a turn on. It's not a turn on for me.
Oh, you like the dumb and good looking guy?
No,
the guy who's hot, young, big cock, and dumb.
No.
Come on, Doc.
It's nothing like that. But like, I don't like. I don't like people who like try to be showing off intellectually or whatever. I like someone who can engage in conversation, is fun, and has ideas.
Where am I on that level?
I think you're like really down to earth, kind of. You're smart. I mean, you are just rat cunning smart.
Thank you.
Know,
and
I like that. You have a lot of charisma and stuff. And I don't think that. You know what? You're not all that you appear. You're more than you are. That you're more than what you appear to be. And I like that. So like there's more to you than meets the eye. Like someone can meet you and they'd be like, okay, this is dude. Who's this dude? He's some down to earth, loud guy, fun and whatever. But like you are super smart. I don't know what your IQ is, but you're really smart. You're not like with this guy who's just like, and so, you know, this philosopher and that philosopher and this theory and that theory. Yeah. No, like you're just like down to earth, raw, real deal kind of guy, but
that's
smart.
why it's the real deal.
And that's what I like. That's the kind of smart I like.
I believe everybody in my own, again, when I say believe, it's my belief. It doesn't mean it has to be anybody's belief. And I believe that. Yeah. Look at me playing. I'm playing with something. So you must be analyzing me.
You're always playing with something. I know what you really want to be playing with right now, but you can't because, you know, you're kind of being recorded on the show.
I love her, Doc. No, I do believe, yes, intelligence turns me on. Beauty, of course.
How about sarcasm?
You know, a comedy or a sense of humor totally turns me on. I am not into uptight. I'll tell you what I'm not into.
Okay.
Negative people. And you heard that today a little bit beforehand. Yeah. I am not into people who are negative. Listen, we all go through ups and downs.
I don't like small talk either.
What do you mean small talk?
Like, I don't know. Like I was at a party the other night and these girls were talking in front of me and they were talking about yoga for like 20 minutes. And I'm just like,
I think they're just opening it. You know, small talk is something to get to the bigger talk. I mean, listen, when I go to a bar, you got to start. You can't start an intellectual conversation with someone. Like, what you can do is ask, hey, you're beautiful. Your bag is beautiful.
It's really good like that. Like you can really engage people. You get people engaged. You talk. I mean, you're very. I'd love to give you like a personality test and know exactly what your personality.
Oh, there's a test for that?
Yeah, it's a simple thing. I can send it to you a link and see what you're extroverted. I'm
a total extrovert. I am not an introvert. My mother's an introvert.
I'm introverted.
No, you're not.
No, I am. According to the test. But here's the thing. Like,
not with me, you're not.
It's funny
it got silent there.
I can like work a room, but I work it a little differently. I usually work it through other people, and they introduce me. Like someone like you would be like, "Okay, this is Dr. Palmer."
You don't like to just go up to somebody and say,
"No, I don't. I don't do that." And like I will be very quiet at the table.
I like that, and I like extroverted people. I mean, my assistant Nick, He is extrovert. He's total extrovert.
He's an extrovert?
Absolutely.
Oh, no, you meant introvert.
No.
No, he's outgoing?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
He is not scared to engage you and talk to you.
But people think I'm really outgoing and it's not like I'm not here and there and I do things, but like I'm very carefully crafted. Like
See, an extrovert to me is the person who's not scared to go up to a person and say, "How you doing? I'm Nick. I want to talk to you for a minute or whatever."
I can do that, but I don't usually.
Yeah, that's why you're an introvert.
I don't usually do that.
My sister Nick can do that. You can't be an assistant to somebody like myself without being that way. You can't be an introvert.
Yeah.
You just can't happen. You can't be in a field where I'm in. The media field, most people in the media are extroverts.
I like more intimate relationships. Like you and I have known each other for a while. Like we get together, we don't just talk.
Oh, we joke and we
do, but
big time joke.
But like,
and we like to tease each other.
Yeah,
There's no question.
I like that.
Yeah, we do. I love that. If you weren't teasing me, I'd say, Sash, she's not happy.
I don't like people
again.
that are too vanilla, like when they're too vanilla and they can't take a joke and they can't
laugh
and they can't get humor and they can't,
intelligence. A girl who can have a conversation with me about anything. And you know what I try to tell young people?
How about fighting and making up?
What? I love that.
How about
That's
arguing?
the best. I like to listen. Fighting.
I'm that kind of guy.
Okay. Fighting to me, I think listen. When you say fight, no. But this is a good question because a person who you have to
avoidant. There's a lot of avoidant people. They have that avoidant attachment style. That as soon as like a conflict comes up, they're out the door. They won't talk to you. So you're not that way. No. You'll deal with something head on.
No, the last relationship was 14 years. I think that what most people, in my opinion, again, is as a person who looks at a relationship and says, this person I can engage with. She's beautiful. She's great. And then if you have sex is a big part of it too. Because if you're not compatible,
right?
If you're not compatible in bed, how can you be compatible anywhere? You're going to fight. You're going to look for things different. I'm not a believer in monogamy. You know that. I don't believe I never did, and I won't ever believe in monogamy.
Are you polyamorous?
What give us that?
Polyamory.
I've heard it, but give us that.
Having
multiple relationships at once.
Yeah.
Not relationships. I don't. I think that takes too much effort, if you want to call it. Now, sex-wise, I believe in multiple sexual partners, or even if they have fun partners.
But you don't have any relationships with the
right
people
now
that you have. No, when you have multiple sex partners, you're not just like, hey, let's do it. I mean, you get to know them.
Oh, no question. No.
So do you go to eat with these people?
Oh, sure.
And you hang out with them and stuff, and you have some type of maybe a dating, quote unquote, dating relationship.
Yeah, well, it doesn't.
How does this work?
Oh, listen, it's just a called connection. I mean, if you just want to go have sex, you can go to a whorehouse, or you want to go to something.
But you do have a connection with them,
somewhat. I mean, I've been to swingers clubs, and there's really not much of a connection. There's something. You buy a drink for somebody, you go out with them, and then.
And so, is there any like repeated experiences with them?
Oh, sure. It could be. It could be once. It could be twice. It could be never. It could be
but never 3 times.
Oh, many 5, 10.
So how do you do that and not get attached to the person that you're having that experience?
You do get attached, but you don't get fully attached. Here's what I mean.
Yeah.
There's always something. Usually something
that you don't like.
Not don't like. You just think yourself. Do you want that for the rest of your life?
Right.
And then you say so. Great in bed. Check.
Okay.
Great communicator. Check.
Mm-hmm.
Great with friends because you want the people to enjoy your friends. Check.
Yeah.
Bad with fucking family or whatever.
Right,
or, can't relate to families. Always, fuck your family, fuck this or whatever it is. So then you say, oh, there's 4 of these 5 are great, and I'd love to have sex when we go out and go places and do things. Great person you can go on vacation with. Yeah. That's great. And then after the vacation, you go, I fucking want to get away from that person. And then there's the other people.
You miss them.
The one person or you're going to want to be with is going to be the one you want to be around all the time. All the time.
Through ups and downs.
Through ups and downs. And
you're talking more about unconditional love. And now we're getting deep.
Yeah. And it's hard to find that. And even with that, that person has to love you for who you are without changing.
Yeah.
See, once you think you can change somebody, you can't in that regard. I'm not saying change their bad behaviors. You want to always help them try to change something. But meaning that one person that you want to help, you want to make better, you want to be, their happiness means something to you.
Yeah.
Big time. And when you got that, that's special. Now that person also already knows that you like sex with hot psychologists, or you like sex with whatever. You get what I meant, though? I mean, what are you? Are you a one-woman doctor? I mean, can you go out with multiple men?
I'm not going to get into that. But
you heard it right here, everybody.
Yeah, but what I do find interesting is what the assumption is about what attraction is, like the way people see women being attracted to a guy. Like they would just say, oh, this guy, and this happened to me the other day, this guy, he's nice, and he, a friend of mine is like, oh, but he has money and he's nice, and I'm like, but I'm not attracted to him. But just get to know him. And if you get to know him, maybe, and it's like, nah.
No.
And it's like, they don't understand that. I don't know if there's this idea that as a woman, if the guy
was it a guy that said that?
No, it was
another
actually
woman?
another one. But guys have said that too, that there's this idea that, okay, if the guy can be a good provider and he's nice, then, and we get along.
Don't you think women think that way, though?
A lot of probably a lot of women
primal,
do,
isn't it?
Like, I don't, though. It's like,
well, you're a different woman.
Like,
you're self-sufficient yourself.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it.
I want you because you can support me.
I mean, but that has nothing to do with it. You know what the thing is? It's just like we're going back to its sheer attraction, sheer chemistry. Forget money for example. Put that to the side. Forget the personality just for the side. First of all,
simple attraction.
Simple physical attraction.
I agree.
It has to be there.
100%.
Then, have to like the personality. Don't have to like everything about the personality, but have to be drawn to them. Have to want to sustain. Have to want to sit with them.
Have to be accepting of the things you don't like.
And that too, right? And then also the other part. But you can't. For me, I can't be with someone just because they're millionaires and they have money and we get along. That's a business person.
Well,
that's
obviously,
a friend.
you know a lot of very, 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 very wealthy and influential people. But you're not. And that says a lot about you because you know what you want. You're not settling for just that.
And
like myself,
I wouldn't understand that, though. A lot of people wouldn't understand. I think it's more acceptable. It's like, okay, a guy's going, and ageism also exists in this realm too, especially ageism, because it's like if an older guy is going out with a younger girl, hey, that's no big deal. He's not married. He's going out with a younger girl. That's acceptable. Older woman going out with a younger guy, there's an age gap. It's not really acceptable. It's kind of like, but you're
he's a gigolo, or
no, I'm just saying that I'm talking about ideas in society and ageism about relationships and stuff.
I have my own personal thing with that. I have to be attracted to the person, number one.
For sure.
Whatever that initial attraction is, it's got to be there. It's something that's why did I look at
like
that
regardless of the personality?
Right. Before you even know it.
Before you
look at what did that right? Then to me, communications and how they communicate and stuff of that made it.
Yeah.
But I do think I have my own inner arguments, or not. I have to fight with ageism, and here's what I mean. If I want to go with a younger person, I think, how long do you have left, and is it wrong to do that because you're going to leave that person if they love you? You don't want them to take care of you, that kind of shit. I don't want an old maid, or vice versa. Do you want a woman who is way older than you, and then I actually like that better personally. I think a younger guy with an older woman is more, in my opinion, is more normal, because the guy, and this is not sexism, but even if they're not, but that's a provider, they can fend for themselves. When she goes, he'll be all right. It's kind of like you take care of somebody and then you worry about them, like you could worry about. But then again, you have to put that aside and say, and then you got to think, do they really want you for what you are?
Well, the thing is that we have, I think, in our society, all these ideas because of the movies and TV shows that we watch about what a relationship should look like, and like all these check boxes and how it should go, and two people should get together and they never have any problems, and like everything is hunky-dory. And if there's a problem, then you know what? Let's just swipe left and go to the next person.
That's
or
a good
whatever,
one. That's a great
We
one.
have that in our society because of the Tinder culture and everything. It's just a swipe. It's just a swipe away from the next person, and nobody wants to fix what's broken. Nobody wants to work on themselves. Why should I change myself? I just go on to the next person. And so many single people now. I mean, there are people getting married, but
well,
there's
no. I listen. I think you're 100% right. I am of the fact that I wouldn't care if you're happy. If you're a friend, and you are a friend of mine, I could care less if you said to me, "Like, look at this guy. He's 21 years old. He's good for you," because you're the one who's gonna live with him. You're the one who's going to look at him. And now you're the one who has to say, I'm okay to bring him around friends of mine because he is a good person. I don't give a shit what people think. I don't give a fuck if Larry likes him or not. Maybe Larry wants to fuck him. But no, only kid joking, of course. But my point, did you get what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that are, living in that nice home with the picket fence and the
But don't you think that's changing? It's 2023.
They're crying, they're lonely, they're not feeling good about, and everybody goes, but I thought you had the perfect marriage and I thought you were happy and we saw you guys at events and we saw you guys doing this, and it's like
and they're all broken up.
Really don't know what was really going on behind closed doors.
Got a question for that. How do you look at young people or old people? Don't you think it's 2023? I think the young people today, personally, are smarter, more open, hard workers. I am very, as they say in the stock market, I am very bullish on the future with young people because I deal with young people a lot. And I find young people to be smart, to be work good hard. I think they learn every day. You have to be sometimes patient, but I really do think young people, because they don't judge like we did. When I grew up, you got to remember, I was born in 1961. When I grew up in the 70s, I mean, if you were a gay guy in the 70s, in the military, even when I went in the military in 1979, you were kicked out. I mean, there was no ask, don't tell. It's changed.
Yeah.
I think young people are more open to today's society, and they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You ask a 25-year-old about, does he give a fuck about somebody's sexuality? I guarantee he says, get the fuck, I don't give a shit.
You know what? I hang around a lot of millennials, young people, because
what's a millennial today? I don't even know the age limit.
Like the 30s.
I'm a baby boomer.
Like the 30s, the 20s,
okay, 30s
and stuff. And I do engage in that culture because actually my app that I'm developing is, everybody's gonna love it, but it's
I can't wait. We got to come on it. I want to hear about it.
For millennials, mostly for that market. So I really engage in that market of people. But I actually have friends from all generations.
Obviously, I do. My audience is very young.
Yeah.
My audience is very young.
Yeah.
And my audience is 18 to 24 and 25 to 34. And from up to 45, from 18 to 45, my audience is 80% that age and mostly male.
Yeah.
So,
but the thing about the millennials is that, I see like two extremes. I see some that are super duper intelligent. They're like on the cutting edge. I mean, there's a lot of millennials working behind the scenes in my brand. And I'm so proud of that. I'm just like, oh
I
my
am
gosh,
too.
you're so brilliant.
I hire
so
young
cool.
people.
And they work on the weekends, holidays, like they're working when no one's working. On the other end of the culture is the millennials and the Gen X, Gen Zs. And a lot of the producers of the networks now are really young. You'd believe, I mean,
no, I can imagine.
Like, they're running the shows. They're running the big shows. It's unbelievable. It wasn't like that 10, 15 years ago. Was not like that.
Nope. But, experience. They wanted only experience.
It's really impressive, But on the other end of the spectrum are the millennials that, like you're saying, that don't give a fuck, excuse my French, right? But they don't. And that's also a problem to some degree. I mean, it can be good and then it can be bad because it's kind of like they don't care. It's this carelessness of, I can do whatever I want, what I want, how I want to be successful.
Well, that's just about responsibility.
I want to be successful and I don't want to work. They have these ideas. This entitlement, these ideas and these fantasies. And, they go on their Instagrams and they put on their description that they're CEOs of this and they're this and that, and they're really nothing. Okay. They're really absolutely nothing but a description on their Instagram. And, for some people, influencers are making a lot of money. There are influencers that make a lot of money, but there's
tons.
also people that are just, because that's actually like a career now. To
Oh,
be an
absolutely.
influencer. I told my
Internet's
mother, I was like, do you have influencers are actually a career? She's like, what's an influencer?
Did you know one of the biggest influencers in the world right now? He's 24 years old, and he makes more money than probably 99.9% of all CEOs. Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
You know who he is?
No.
He is the biggest influence. He makes Howard Stern look like a peon.
Wow.
He makes $100 million a year.
That's incredible.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
His name's Mr. Beast. People can go look him up. I like
the youthfulness, though.
But I respect him a lot. You want to know why? Because I watch a lot of his stuff, and he is such a worker, and he's smart, and he's figured stuff out.
They try to do things faster and better, and because
Not him.
Their access to technology, though, is totally.
Well, he started. He quit. His mom wanted him to go to college. He quit. He didn't go. I think he went one day, but just smart. I mean, they figured stuff out.
Oh yeah,
and he got the work ethic that's amazing. Yeah. And now I love that the guy. But my whole team. I'm the oldest, obviously, and then Sam is 50, and then you go down to Mike is 39, 38 or 39. Then you got my son is 33. You got Darian is 20. You got Nick who's 25.
Yeah, and
then so you got
a lot of my young
guys. I love them.
Yeah, a lot of my guys working for me are they're about 25, 26. Like front end, my front end coder, he's about 25. My UI designers, right? It's amazing.
And I love them. We're going to go. I have a question. One last question for you. I always ask this question to every guest if I can. Where do you see yourself in 1 year, 5 years, and 20 years?
Now you're being the therapist. I know what? I see myself doing a lot of the same things that I do
in 1 year.
Now. Yeah, doing a lot of the same things that I do now, but always better. I'm always trying to do, I've been working on the Dr. Lisa Palmer 4.0 version.
Do you
and
figure
then next year it's going to be the 5.0 version?
No, I mean, you got 1 year from now. Do you think your apps launch, your YouTube's launch, where do you see? I mean, are you doing less therapies and more?
I think down the line, I'd like to do less therapy and be more, more of my efforts as the CEO of the Renew Me, and be working with brands and brand development and Soulscape and Renew Me and all that, and kind of go more into the tech aspect.
5 years.
Same thing, but bigger, even bigger and bigger, and just like.
All right, now personally,
brand,
are you married, Doc?
No.
So I knew that. I didn't have that answer. But do you see yourself relationship wise?
Do I see myself?
Where do you see yourself in the near future, and then 5 years in a relationship wise?
I don't know yet. I have to ponder that.
She's being really evasive.
I really don't. I think that maybe again in life at some point down the line I'll be married, so someone can take care of me when I'm older.
You don't do that. You just did a whole show on not that. No, only kidding, Doc. I get it.
I like to travel more. I never get to travel. I never really get to travel. I like
you're always somewhere. What are you kidding me?
No. I mean, I've only been to Europe once.
I've never been to Europe.
And I've just so many places I've never traveled up to Soulscape places and like really be able to enjoy life on that.
Yeah, take a ride with me in my RV.
Adventure.
Oh, that's an adventure.
Yeah, I'd like to do that, but just still trying to be youthful and balanced and have a vibrant spirit and just do everything better that I was yesterday. And I'm always trying to do that and giving my, just living my best life, really.
I love that. Now, okay, Doc, I need you to tell us what your Instagram is, where can people find Dr. Lisa Palmer?
Connected to yours. Dr. Lisa Palmer.
Dr. Lisa Palmer.
Dr. Lisa Palmer Instagram. That's my Instagram.
Dr. Lisa Palmer. And that's Instagram. No, you have Facebook, don't you? Do you have all that?
Yeah, I guess you could look up Dr. Lisa Palmer.
And what's your website?
TheRenewCenter.com. TheRenewCenter.com.
Is it REN?
It's the Renew.
Okay. THE.
It's TheRenewCenter.
Oh, the Renew Center.
Yes.
TheRenewCenter.com. We'll have links in this below everywhere we post
follow
this.
Follow me on Instagram. Actually, the link is on Instagram, so follow me.
That's good for you, man. I mean,
hopefully I can join you more. Maybe we'll do.
Maybe I could come down there with the bus and the mobile studio and do something
That's
down
pretty
there.
cool.
That's out of Nickel Drive. He does that, and I'd love that. I mean, listen, I think you could do some stuff. I'd love to do a call-in live show where people can call in and maybe you analyze them or something. I think that'd be cool. I think we can have a lot of fun with that. Anyway, everybody, we had Dr. Lisa Palmer from the RenewCenter.com. It's the Renew Center is down in Boca Raton or West Palm Beach? Boca Raton. Yep. And Dr. Lisa Palmer is in South Florida. Give her a call. Check her out on Instagram. It's Dr. Lisa Palmer on Instagram, at Dr. Lisa Palmer on Instagram. Check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, also check out my my sponsors, of course, Youwager.lv. That's Youwager.lv. Check them out. Of course, we want to thank Oliva Cigars, who was my major sponsor. They've been doing us so great. We got a lot going on with our stuff. Check it out. Check all my stuff out. Links below. Check everything out. We're having a great time. Dr. Lisa Palmer, again, thank you very, very much.
Thanks
for coming here. We really appreciate that, everybody. Have a great day, Lisa.